Unsettled when waiting for the end then to begin. Dim the light, swear to me you breathe my pollen, baby, till you do. So weird to me. Quiet times make quiet thinking straight instead of dreaming. And if you bleed and still believe, then treasure's not the only thing. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Treasure's not the only thing. Velvet rock, sandy feet, Russian thistle ballet in the heat. Little suns, Meridian, Avalon and Avalon, in between.
It's like riding a swell, you know. It's like we were like on top of the swell. Ooh, look, the best ride ever. These guys are great. Wow, what a great surfer. Look at those abs. And then, you know, and then downside. Within just 3 short months of releasing Minerva, Blue Meridian came to California from Florida for the first time when we did a tour. And we did like, it wasn't a big tour, it was a really small tour actually. It was like 7 shows in 9 days or something like that. It was so revitalizing to me. It was like an adrenaline shot. You know, give me this shot. You know, I went back and I had never written so much in my life. From, I think that spring when we got back, I think in a 6-week period I wrote 11 songs, and you know they were songs like Tinseltown and California, and it was just basically. I had already written a bunch of songs that were, I guess, could be considered depressing, you know? Well, the California songs were very optimistic. They were very uplifting, at least in comparison to the others. And I created this sort of a story by taking all of these songs as pieces in a puzzle and assembling them in the correct order to sort of create this story about that wave that I was talking about earlier. But how sometimes you're on top of the wave and everyone's looking at you, the golden boy, and then the next minute you're getting boiled in the surf. Yeah? So it's like one day you're depressed and the next day you're on top of the world. You know, one day you're in a rut, the next day everything is looking up. And, you know, one day you're in love, the next day you're nursing a broken heart, and that's sort of the cycle of life. So the new album is about that. That's hence the title, Avalon and Babylon and me in between. And the story is told through the lyrics of the songs and also through like a lot of the symbolism in the lyrics. And there's also, the songs are joined in most places. There's a lot of ambient segues. There's poetry in the segues. There's a lot of symbolism. And some of the symbols actually, you know, you get hit over the head with. Because people these days aren't used to hearing like a lot of meaning in music. And I didn't want them to miss out on the fact that I went far out of my way to inject a lot of meaning into this music. So for the person whose symbolism antenna is really low, I wanted to make sure that they caught my hook and allowed me to reel them in. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, thanks for hanging out so late on a school night. So tonight's a pretty exciting night, sort of. We're sort of releasing an album tonight, and we're glad that we're not sort of, but extremely glad that you're here. Right? If I find the edge of this, if I prove the earth is flat, will you reach into the mist and pull me from abyss? Would you kindly take me back under one golden sun? California, here we come, where the sand blows. California, here we go. Here we go. If I rush to gold in the west, like the fool's gold in the east, might I finally feel quite blessed, might I beat it from my chest, would I finally get some sleep under one golden sun? California, here we come, where the climate suits my clothes. California, here we go. If no one will rearrange the view outside my cage, I'm leaving town today, to the dark side of the moon, with the spotlight and a tune, to embrace the days away. A place that doesn't rain, a place that doesn't drain you.
What's up, Vato?
You going golfing? What's everyone doing? Hello? Here's your shirt back.
That's not. I gave you that.
I know. No, but see, for those of you watching, Donovan is an Indian giver.
I gave you that shirt for
but
like
this
Christmas.
This doesn't fit that good, but the other one does, so I'm keeping the other one.
The other one's like a $35 shirt. This one's like a $15 shirt.
Give 15 bucks, call it even.
Well, here. Thanks. We're just making an even exchange.
What's a cooler shirt? David Bowie from '87, or Squeeze from '81, sleeveless. Squeeze. Case closed.
Yeah, I'm keeping the Squeeze. That one's good too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a shame because I have so many shirts that would look so good on you. I'm never gonna lend any of them to you anymore now.
Well, you never said like you go here. I got a shirt for you to wear for the show, you know, and like you can wear it for the show.
Ooh,
No.
I have a shirt for you to wear for the show.
You said, I've got a shirt for you, and you can wear it for the show, like wear it this show. So I'm like, oh no, free gift, thanks. And I wore it for the show, and then like the show's over, and he's like, hey, when do I get my shirt back?
Hey, here comes Chadwick.
Here comes the bed.
Coming right now. Pull up. Before the Key Club show, when I gave you the Lover Boy shirt, did you have the impression that I was giving it to you or loaning it to you for the show? Just loaning it for the show.
We couldn't hear that over the engine of the Corvette, so I don't know what he said.
Your spot of it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, your spot.
Come on. Suck, you cop, suck!
I'm gonna walk to that little fucking dollar store over there. Anybody need me? I just got some food.
Well, it's better than it was.
I need the last 20 minutes of my life back.
We have lots of special guests tonight, and Jesse being one of them. Give it up for Jesse, real quick. Another beautiful girl named Jess, our flautist for the evening, is going to join us on this next number here. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Talking to the girls, sometimes I drift away around and you forget you're the access through my world. My mind sometimes takes me to I've never been too good at swallowing the blame when I still see you as I live. The phoenix feather to fan a world in flames, and it's a long, long way till yesterday. I tried, but I'm calling it a day. Beautiful thing, you'd rest on Sunday. This the universe began. Beautiful thing, you think that one day you know the love you've fallen in. Beautiful thing. Jessica Marshall on the flute.
When I was eight, I wasn't even old enough to drive, and I went to lunch with my parents, and we got done eating, and they wanted to sit there and drink coffee and talk. I got up and I went for a walk around this park, and I saw this car sitting, parallel parked at the edge of the park. Only this was like many years ago and wasn't nearly in this condition. It was all rusty. It was all in here was all eaten out. It was all rusted, but that's typical Florida for you. And I sat there and I wanted to know what this car was that looked like a great white shark. I just thought it was the coolest looking car. It was like the Batmobile or something. And I'm like, this has to be like a modification. This can't be like a real car that was made that people could buy. Come on, And I sat there on a bench in front of the car, and this guy walks up and he goes to open up the car, And I said, "What is this?" And he says, "This is 1965 Buick Riviera." And I said, "It's so cool." And he goes, "I love it." And that was really all that was said. But like, I left there that day saying, one of these days when I'm old enough to drive and I have some money and I can afford whatever I want, I'm going to buy a 1965 Buick Riviera. And this is sort of my dream car, except for the air conditioning is not currently working. That's like a nightmare car in summer in California, but this is my dream car. So thanks for having I wish I could take you for a ride.
Jesse flew all the way from Florida.
Yes,
Today. And tomorrow she's going down to Riverside and she's going to fly in a helicopter. That's the California experience, to get the aerial view of Riverside. You're going to love it. Look, there's a car on blocks. California, so beautiful. I started working on an album years ago that I just finished. Jesse was cool enough to come in the studio all those ages ago and perform them with me, and we're going to do them for you right now. I'm not Elvis, I'm not Jesus, I'm not ugly, I'm not a target sold on the blue market. This could be magic, or this could be tragic. Oh, how right you are, we scar. We entertain you from up here. It's weird, but it's crystal clear. How right you are, we scar. We entertain up here. It's a weird, but it's crystal clear. How right you are, we scar. We entertain you from up here. It's a weird, it's crystal clear. Yeah, it's crystal clear.
On Avalon and Babylon, there's a song called Mary Model. And I've had a lot of people approach me and say that it was the most beautiful love song that I'd ever written, and I would tend to agree based on solely on the lyrics. I'm sure you've beached 1,000 ships from a lighthouse in a tight blouse and heavy lips. Each time my tongue touches you, it's a calorie, and a gallery is any room you walk into. That's romantic. I find that the best love songs aren't actually written about someone that you find yourself in love with. I find that the best love songs are those that are created from the mind's eye, you know, by closing your eyes and inventing a love, an unsurpassable love. One night when I was in Orlando, I went to this bar, and there was a girl bartending, and she was really, really beautiful. Not the type of girl that I would ever ask out, for sure, but I wanted to see if I did ask her out, if she would go out with me, just for fun. I can't remember her name. It started with a J. It was Jenna, Jessica, Jana, I don't know. But she handed me a piece of paper. It had her phone number on it, and it had her email address on it. And her email was Mary Model. And I said, why is your email address Mary Model when you're Joanna Model? And she says, I just thought it was hooky. And I said, I think it's hooky too. So I went home that night and I wrote the song Mary Model in its entirety. And I loved it. I was very proud of it. Sometimes when you finish a song, you're like, yes. And that's how I felt about that tune. And I never called her. I know girls like that. I know what would happen. If I called her, here's how the phone conversation would go. Hey, it's Donovan from the other night. You gave me your phone number. Oh, hi. How are you, baby? Hey, I was wondering about this weekend if you wanted to go out. Yeah, hey, look, I'm with my girlfriends right now. We're doing this and that, so can I call you back? And never calls back. You know what I mean? I just been down that rubbish road before. Not all the time, but most of the time. So I didn't write the song about her. I mean, I didn't call her or write the song about her. I just used her email address. I just used her email address for inspiration. I never called her because I knew if I did, I would hate her. And I didn't want that to diminish my love for the song. So I never called her, and I guarantee you she never noticed.
Sure you have a nice tattoo of a dolphin or an angel somewhere on you. I'm sure you've been to Hollywood. You're downtown in a big town that's undiscovered. What would be so wrong if I were the warm December, the coolest, darkest shade? You were much more than an iPhone. Every mortal, the sweetest lemonade. I'm sure you've beached 1,000 ships from a lighthouse in a tight blouse of heavy lips. Each time my tongue touches you, it's a calorie and a gallery is an area you walk into. What would be so wrong if I were your warm December, the cutest, darkest shade? You were much more than an iPhone. Every mortal, the sweetest lemonade. If ours was a dying sun, to pick up on the ring. And after the last three comes, to cut it only. What would be so wrong if I were you warm December? You are much more than I've heard. Yeah, I'm every model. What would be so wrong if I were keyless rocket shade? You are much more than I've heard. Yeah, I'm every model.
You actually done pretty good, dude.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Actually, I really have
You got a dip in.
I got a Rourke. I have an upper. Scott, you have a nice signature. That's really pretty. I do mine. That's Scott. That's me, and it's
Wick.
Wick over. I didn't put George in there because he couldn't be here today. So F him.
The thing that I find most interesting about Avalon and Babylon and sort of its creation is that it really opened up a new palette for Blue Meridian and Donovan Lyman that really wasn't there before as far as the rest of the records go with Minerva and Brave Angel and whatnot. And what's more interesting than just, you know, all the amazing songs on Avalon and Babylon are the fact that when we play live, when we intermix songs from Minerva or Brave Angel, that sort of palette, because we're playing all, you know, with different colors, get sort of applied to these older songs.
The songs always have a different interpretation given to whatever, like suppose we're in Edinburgh, Scotland, and it's been a cold day.
Edinburgh.
And we've been on the bus for 2 weeks and we got a few pints in us. What comes out in the music that night is a completely different interpretation than any other time. And it's like if you're a painter or a musician or a lover for that matter, in any type of artistic expression, you're given to the intricacies of the moment, whatever happens to be going on in the room or in your head or, you know, aesthetically influences what you express in the moment. Jason Dussault is a clothing designer from Canada, and this is his new store that just opened up. If you can see that card. They've been kind enough to loan some of our clothes down. It's very nice, very, very exciting clothing line. You should come in and check it out if you're in LA. The store opened up yesterday. The previous day was the grand opening party, and in front of the store that we're standing in is Melrose Avenue, and they had taken the first lane of traffic and fenced it off completely and had laid carpet across the whole thing and had a giant jacuzzi tub with girls in bikinis, and Pink's Hot Dogs was out there serving hot dogs, and they had 2 great big bars, and DJ Scribbles, I think his name is, was DJing. It was really cool, and there were a lot of celebrities and whatnot, and I got to meet Gene Simmons from Kiss, the God of Thunder. I spotted him across the room. I made eye contact with him, and he looks at me and he winks, and he goes like this to me. Picks me out of the crowd, and I walked up and I shook his hand, and I just felt like a total toad, so I just walked away. But in that instant, in my mind was going, God of Thunder, the blood.
He only ever said one thing to me. I met this really cute girl at this concert, and I'm backstage. She wanted to meet him. So she's like, introduce me to Gene Simmons. So I walk up and I go, he knew who I was, because I was introduced to him very briefly as being this, you know, someone who was in the industry. So I tap him on the shoulder, and I'm like, Gene, I said, you gotta do me a favor and meet my girl here. And he turns around and he goes, oh, do I have to? Sort of like in a playful yet extremely condescending, you don't tell Gene Simmons what to do kind of way. And I said, never mind. I want to introduce you to somebody right now. This is Dan Wistrom right here.
Just too weak to bear this cross that I have carried for the best part of my life. I never used to get this tired of it got late night. God, I miss you. You're so beautiful, and that means everything to me.
Something interesting happened tonight. We attempted to release our 5th album, but it's our first CD release party ever where we actually don't have any CDs. They're at LAX. They're at LAX, and you know the little odd baggage claim where they put the golf clubs and the snowboards and shit? There's a box of CDs right there. And they're not right here. They're over there. I hate when they're over there, when they should be right here. We're gonna figure something out, a way to get them to you, okay? Anyway, first ever CD release party with no CD release. It's just a show. It's just a show. If y'all get bored, we can bring up Pussy Galore again. Anyway. I want to bring up a friend of mine. She's a dear friend of mine. She looks great in her little headband. She know who she is. Ladies and gentlemen, Sydney Robinson, please come up here and help us out with this next song, sweetheart. Sure. Sydney, come on up here and sing a song. If you were here early, you caught Sydney and you know that she's effing fantastic and she's about to come up here and make me a very happy man. Let's give it a... Y'all just, for those of you that showed up late and don't know how she sings, just give it up for the way she looks, because, goddamn, she's a pretty thing. I wrote this song a few years ago. I was signed to a label for a minute. And the producer said to me, he said, hey, we have this young country singer. Can you write a song for her? And I said, yeah, publish them, shit. I wrote the song in like 30 minutes, and they didn't like it because she was 16. They said it's way too intelligent for a 16-year-old country singer. I said, that's fine, I'll put it in my back pocket. And when I meet Sidney Robinson in 3 years, we're going to do a duet at Fay Dodo. Thank you. Thank you. This is called Only One More. Miss Sidney Robinson. Jesse Dahlman back here. Hope you're in the mood for a few more, because we ain't done yet by a damn sight.
Keep your eye on the road, douchebag. Look, he's a lefty, so it goes around the thing. Doing the roundabout.
2? Line 3? I'm line 3. I don't know. I'm lying my ass off. I think I'm... That's in the road. You caught me in a private mail moment. I hear it, the fellas hacking away at golf balls, drinking beer, eating peanuts, and chewing tobacco. Yeah, the album Avalon and Babylon and Me. It took so damn long. It took 4 years to make. You know, during that time, I was writing new songs, so here it is, finally done, and I have a whole, new album's worth of material good to go. So I'm going to, we're going to take the band back to Florida with producer Justin Thomas, with co-producer Justin Thomas. We're going to make the next record, Skint and Shattered, it's going to be called. And we're doing that. I actually leave in about a week. I'll be on the east side for 5 weeks, and I'm not coming back until it's done. So that's the plan. And it's going to be really different than the new record. We're going to go from look at it this way. Minerva, which came out in 2003, was like our most radio-friendly, up-tempo, rock record. And then we followed it. It was our most aggressive record overall. And then we followed it with our mellowest record, Avalon and Babylon. Now, the next record, it contains 3 or 4 songs that could have been on Avalon and Babylon, mellow Americana type songs. But it also is, coupled with our most aggressive songs ever. So it's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun to make it. And now, if you would excuse me, I had to park this ball at the base of that pin. How many yards am I? Ooh, I can do this. I can do this. Godspeed. Fucker!
So far, the set's been pretty cool. We've had a couple of really interesting guest musicians and vocalists, and now we would like to put the cherry on top of the cake and invite Mr. Jim Kalin up to perform on the banjo. Saturday girl, with your shot and your cigarette, you're a stranger with a stranger, a stranger Saturday girl, with your bareback and suffragette, I'm in danger, he's in danger, sweet and sweet. If I could walk you to your car, and when we don't like in ourselves, we could leave back at the bar, along with everybody else. tangled, stranger than you. Saturday girl, I'm a coward in your brave new world, but I could be fearless, so outrageous, so courageous, you'll see. If I could walk you to your toy, if I could walk straight through your walls, we could forget the things we wore, the smoke screen and alcohol. If I could walk around with you, past all the invisible girls, then we could walk on water too, walk everywhere around the world.
George Costello's number 5, University of Miami, bass. Can I wait? I'm doing an interview right now.
I can tell by the way you're standing.
Can you tell? I'm putting out the vibe. Hi.
Are you a Wangs?
What'd you call me?
Look.
Hey, come on.
Okay, I'll
You're wasting valuable footage
in.
here.
What?
You're wasting. You're in my light, and you're wasting valuable footage. Okay, Joey, come on. So what's up?
What's going on, guys? What are you talking about?
We're outside the hotel cafe. We just finished a blistering 45-minute set. I thought it went pretty well. Did you?
Blistering?
Blistering.
Yeah.
You didn't think it was blistering?
No, I thought that it went really well. I've been sick for a couple of weeks, so I think my voice held up. I think there was a minimal amount of errors.
Yeah.
And
we've played a lot worse in front of a lot more people and gotten paid a lot less. So that's pretty
wait,
good.
I need my calculator to suss that out.
So yeah, now we're getting ready to take off to Orlando to record our new album, Skint and Shattered, which we're really excited about. We played a lot of the about half of the material there tonight. Right, Donovan?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
All right. Tell them where we're staying when we go.
There's a house that we're staying at. It couldn't have been a better situation. I mean, like, what does a hotel cost? You know, we're gonna have 4 dudes in this big 2-story house on a golf course 1 mile from the recording studio, free.
The key, golf course, right there.
I thought free was the key.
Well, that's too. That's another key. But see, I'm really, you know, I'm addicted to golf right now, so I'm packing my clubs and my bass and heading to Orlando for 1 week of recording and golfing. So,
I've stayed at this house before, and I'm actually thinking about buying it. You know? And
you are?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it's funny because like I could go to the store, go run an errand, and I come back and there's 4 more golf balls in the backyard, and I'm like, why are there so many golf balls landing in this yard? And I didn't understand until I played the course. It's like hole 17, and it goes like this. It goes here. It goes up, left. Here's the pin. Here's the house, right on the bend. It's right in the bend. So what you have is you have a bunch of like really mediocre golfers like me that play conservative, and they aim like, okay, I'm gonna put it on the corner, and then I'm on the green in 2 if I'm lucky. But some of those big dogs step up, and they're like, I can go over that house. I'm gonna go over the house like this and land right on the green and 1 get an eagle. God damn it!
And apparently, they're all rednecks. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's Florida, and the backyard of that house just fills up with golf balls. I mean, I've gotten 30 in 1 day. You can sell 40 used golf balls on eBay for like $25.
In fact, that's how we're paying for the album.
I did the math. if even just 20 balls came into that yard per day, at the end of the month, that's how many?
600?
I don't think that's right, but it sounds good.
20 times 30? It's 600.
600 balls. That's half the mortgage payment on the house, and that's why I'm buying it.
There you go.
It's sort of like buying a house that, in finding out that wasn't there like an old Brady Bunch episode where someone bought a house and there was no, I think it was the Clampetts. I don't know.
We just did set a record for the most use of the word balls in an interview. That was amazing.
No, you should see the Village People's interview from 1977.
Get away, it's my interview. Okay.
So proud of the ghost in your machine. Been that way so long, you don't even know what so proud of the cannon on your deck that rolls around from stern to bow, and it's got me smiling. The blades in the back wall, I love in a body bag. The blades in the back, who stole the sun? Blades in the back wall, night love in the body bag. The blades in the back, we still shine. We still shine.
Time that I came to California several years back when we did that tour, I was here for like a month, and during that time I wrote an immense amount of songs that ended up appearing on the Avalon and Babylon record. The song California is sort of what everything else is circled around. It was about being in California and how different it is than the East Coast and how different the mentality is. LAX, the airport here in Los Angeles, is south on the 405. The first time that I landed here, that's where I got picked up, and we headed this way because I was staying in Valley Village. Coming up the 405 and heading towards the 101. It was right here, actually. I had no idea what to expect, but it was like this moment where you get to the top of the hill, where you look down and off in the distance, I don't know how much of that you can see, but that's beautiful. That's something that, even under a shroud of smog, it's beautiful. It really made an impression on me that I carried with me until after I moved here, and I saw that same vista a number of times after I moved here, and I ended up writing the song Valley Lights. It's about Los Angeles and all the amazing potential that it has, and the way that it's not even interested in meeting that potential. It's just interested in being the way that it is. Welcome to Los Angeles. Welcome to the Valley.
Tonight I set my mind on wandering, maybe going all the way home. There's 20 million from the sea to down here. And no dial tone. North 405 is creeping. It's crawling all over the hill. The valley lights are like stars tonight, but there's nobody home still. Can't change lanes and the way that you want. You can't be seen from outer space. It's not so strange to reach for the stars, but love can't be replaced. If she could have the heart of a dragon, but a young could set the hills aflame. Like a tail of a timber wolf wagon, like a piece on this busy board game. I was so lucky when I found you. I've never been too good at talking to the girls. Nah, da, da, da.
I always forget the words of that song, but I like it. This is where I went like this. Couldn't do it now because it's way too out of tune. This is Gridlock Recording Studios. This is where we did the drums on Avalon and Babylon and Me. And the reason why I'm here currently is because we're making our follow-up record, which is called Skint and Shattered. And I don't know if we mentioned what that means. Does anyone know what Skint and Shattered means? Anyone? You? You? Skint and Shattered is, okay, it's Cockney. It's like, you know, drunken southern London talk. It's like, I'm skint and shatter. Actually, you know what, I just realized that we have some fans in England and someone's gonna buy this and go, that is the most rubbish British accent I've ever heard. Shattered is when you're tired. If you're really exhausted after like a night of partying or something, you go, I'm shattered. But someone said, no, it's more specifically, shattered means that you're tired after sex. I don't know, that's not really even relevant. But just thought I'd bring that up. Skint means broke. So skint and shatter means broke and tired. Canyon road that leads to a mess of gold. A sunset you must behold. So I'm told. When I say a sunset you must behold, I'm both referring to the fact that it's like we're approaching dusk right now and Sunset Boulevard. Canyon road that leads to a mess of gold, you know, the promise of fame. A sunset you must behold, referring to Sunset Boulevard.
Man, you really put a lot of thought into this.
I sure did.
It's gonna be on the next record. Just like a bird, pre-flight, who looks off the ledge and fries. Canyon road that leads to a mess of gold. A sunset you must behold, so I'm told. And I feel the shake. You believe on the fire. Leave Los Angeles, give me a slow kiss. Pour me a Grey Goose, put me in shoulders. Leave Los Angeles, clean as a white cliff. Give me a green field, help me get out of here. Help me get out of here. Leaving Los Angeles, give me a slow kiss. Pour me a Grey Goose, put me in shoulders. Leaving Los Angeles, queen of the wild west. Kind of a big deal, and I'm sort of impressed.
I never really knew that I was in a rut, you know? Nothing to do with music, really. Not like a songwriting rut, not like a writer's block, but just, you know, a personal rut. I didn't even realize that I was in one until the first time that Blue Meridian came to California and toured. And it was such a breath of fresh air to be out here in a place like this and do a show on Hollywood Boulevard and go up to San Francisco and play right by the Fisherman's Wharf. And it made me realize two things in one fell swoop. A, I was in a rut, you know, I was a little down. And two, I suddenly wasn't anymore. And I realized that's something that everyone must go through from time to time. And you know, the whole, you get in a rut, you don't even realize you're in one, then suddenly you do, you realize you don't want to be there, so you find a way to lift yourself up out of the muck, turn over a new leaf and, you know, start fresh. And then what happens, you know, what's new eventually becomes old, and you start sliding into like a new rut, you know, and that's one of the cycles of life, you know. You're happy, and then you slowly become unhappy, and then you realize it, I'm unhappy, I'm not as happy as I was, and then you do something about it, and then you're happy again, and then it happens again, and it just always happens. It's a cycle. The cycle goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And the Avalon and Babylon of Me is a story of that. There's a lot of symbolism in it. I beg everyone who listens to the record to pay very close attention to the details, both in the lyrics and in the ambience, because I put an enormous amount of time into it. You know, the rain, bad. The sun, good. You know what I mean? The album starts and ends in rain, and a lot happens in between.